I'm here with Griffin to talk about Vended. They're releasing their debut album. By the way, I couldn't believe this was the debut record. Are you sure you guys didn't give the press release guys the wrong information? I feel like not only the album sounds like a bunch of veterans, I feel like you guys have been around forever. So, first of all, welcome to the channel. Thank you for taking the time.
No, of course. Thank you so much. And oh hi everybody. Uh uh yeah, no, like we've been working on this thing for quite a bit. We've had stuff that we've worked on and finally incorporated some things that uh were that were new, and also some stuff that we already had, just to kind of build it up more and more and more. And yeah, we've got an album.
So,
Yay!
when you started working on this record, did you have a clear vision of what you wanted this album to be, or did that vision kind of become more clear as you start to put some songs together?
More of a passion project, I'd say. Less of like a project where you already have something in mind. At least lyrically for me, I didn't really have, a story that I was trying to tell. I mainly just had, just songs that I wanted to write, rather than, a full on chronological story. Musically though, my boys have been, just writing and writing and writing, and practicing and practicing, to get their to get like songs just written and made. uh like I said, we incorporated things that we already had, and just wrote a bunch of shit. It wasn't really us, like, oh, we have this vision. It was mainly us just writing because we wanted to write.
When you were going through this journey of writing this record, how much of that journey was of self-awareness and perhaps learning a little bit more about yourself, things that you perhaps didn't learn or didn't know before?
A lot of it. It takes. I mean, we were staying at an Airbnb while recording this for like, fuck, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and we were writing this thing uh while we were like staying at this Airbnb. So we like had stuff that we already like brought with us, and then continued writing, at least for me, continued finishing and writing the rest of them while we were staying at this Airbnb. So a lot of that is genuine, like lying in my bed, like just kind of self-reflecting and being like, okay, what am I trying to say? What am I trying to do? And what am I trying to convey? And always remember that, like, a song's meaning in the moment always changes, like towards like, even like months or a year after the song is done, like finished, but just hasn't been released yet. A song's meaning can always change, because usually some person will just be like, I kind of like this as the meaning better, you know?
Do you enjoy that process? Do you enjoy that recording process of having to sit down and think about what you're going to work on and working on it with your bandmates and then seeing the final results?
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. I love the creative side, the creativity side of, writing music. It's very it's very ritualistic. Is that, if that's a word? It's very it's very time consuming, and lets you kind of be yourself and also not be yourself, if that makes any sense. It helps you get out of day-to-day life person and more into, like, what do I really go through, what do people not know about me, and what can I say both cryptically and artistically to make it not only sound good but also feel good,
Are
it I
you
love I love the process.
are you a perfectionist when it comes to that process?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Oh, I'm so fucking OCD with it, but I've had to learn criticism, and I've had to learn um I've had to learn to go to my band, and actually, it makes it. I'm more comfortable going to my band and being like, "Hey, I wrote this and I wrote this lyric, but I'm kind of iffy with it. What do you guys think?" Or, "Hey, I wrote this. What do you guys think of it? Is there anything you guys want to change? Is there anything that you think should be rewritten? Is there anything that like you guys think that could be a better added addition to it? Like, what are your guys' thoughts?" And we'll usually like go back and forth, and I'll tell them like why I wrote something, or why I felt the need to say this specifically. And it's like, yeah, no, it really it's very give and take. Like, I'm giving so much of what I'm thinking in the moment and what I'm trying to say, but I'm also taking that criticism and taking that like, this doesn't work that as well as you think it does. And that's okay, because like nothing is final until it's recorded. That's a genuine like music rule, is that nothing is final, nothing is finished until it's recorded, which then you're shit out of luck if you messed something up.
So when you get into the weeds during this process with your perhaps over analyzing at times, who's your personal bungee cord that pulls you right back out of those weeds into reality? Do you have one?
Genuinely my boys sometimes, because a lot of the times I'm like, whenever I'm writing a song, 99% of the time I am home alone. It's like 4 in the morning, and I've stayed up, and like I'm just I call it my crackhead hours, where I'm just up at 4 in the morning and hyper fixating on some random thing, whether that be a video game, playing my guitar, doing like anything at all. And when I'm working, it is like writing music and trying to get this thing done, because I'm like, I've I've put it off. I've put it to the side for a second because I didn't have any ideas. Let me get into it and see what I can do. Sorry if you can hear my dog. I
I
cannot
can't
stand
actually.
it when.
I
Okay,
can't.
good.
I think
Oh,
you're good.
thanks.
I
All
think
right.
you're good. I think you're good. You know, when I was listening to this album, it's undeniable that the record has this live atmosphere to it. I mean, it rips. It has this energy that I don't think it can be contained in the studio. It's calling for a much larger platform. How much of your live experience in terms of the touring, you guys have done a lot of touring, how much of that went into the concept and the creation of these songs?
Uh, a lot, really. We've been working really fucking hard. We've been in the shit. We've been in the weeds. We've self-discovered together. We've experienced things that a lot of people talk about, and some things that most don't really talk about. Uh, it really, it's very much it we've done so much and yet so little, you know. Like, we've done so much in terms of touring. We've done shows where we haven't gotten paid. We've done shows where we're like absolutely fucking exhausted, and we've done tours where we're just like super feral towards the end, where we're just like, I want to go home. I want to be in my room. Most of us are like, I want to see my wife. But like, yeah, no, a lot of that does incorporate into our music, not really verbally making it so plain and so, you know, being said out in the open, just in terms of like how it sounds, what you feel from it. This is us just through the fucking thick of it, and in our own little corner of the world.
When you sit down and you replay the record, like you said, it's not over until it's over. In this case, it is over. So when you sit down and you play the record, do you listen to the album and say to yourself, man, this is going to be what our signature sound is going to be going forward? Or are you still trying to fine tune what that signature sound is going to be?
Uh, the honestly, I'm an avid believer on the only the future holds. You know, like, I love the sound that we have. I absolutely adore the sound that we have, and I think that there are a lot of ways that we can improve upon it, and a lot of ways that we can uh make it so much better. As good as it is, we there's always room for improvement. But again, that's all up to the future. That's all up to where we take it and where we decide to take it. Whenever I'm listening to the album or just any new song in general, I'm not really thinking of what the uh, uh, what the future sound is going to be or what the sound is. I'm thinking of how am I going to perform this? How am I going to convey what I'm trying to convey physically to a crowd, to the audience, to someone who really isn't focused on what the song what how I want the song to make someone feel. I'm more focused on the live action version of it rather than just it as a whole. But that's just me coming from a performer's side. Musically, I think that we've got a sound. I think we have a genuine sound to distinct us. And only the future holds on whether or not that changes, whether that improves, or anything.
And for you as a singer, when it comes down to your own journey of self-discovery, have you improved more based on the work you've done in the studio, or do you feel like you've improved more based on the work you've done live?
Both, actually. I feel like that I've done. I feel like I've improved 1,000 times more in the studio because I have people around me that are able to give me advice. Some advice I take, and some advice I'm just like, I have something in mind that I don't want to deviate from. I have something that I want to try and do, but I always do what I can to not only go for what I'm going, but give someone's idea a chance unless that idea is kind of deviating from something that I have in mind, something that I'm like, I have a vision of how I'm trying to make this sound, Uh with uh both being a writer and being a performer, like as I've gone through and as I've matured, as I've gotten older, I've definitely seen changes not only in my screams but in my singing and how I perform. It's very much a script that I follow because I have ADHD, and deviation is always on the table, and I try not to deviate as much as possible. I try to follow the script to a T to make sure that the show goes off with a hitch. But I've noticed that I'm able to somewhat, it's very situational. I'm able to somewhat deviate and have a little bit of fun as well. But either way, I've seen changes and n- new things discovered about myself in both situations, both writing, both recording, and performing.
I felt like your vocal performance on this record, and I've seen you guys live as well, but I felt like your vocal performance on this record was one of the cornerstones, one of the pillars of the album. Phenomenal, like really powerful shit. Like you make us feel like we're there with you in the trenches in these songs, and that's not always possible. Not everybody can do that. And then you have
Mm.
really powerful sound behind you. When you're performing these songs live, does it give you some flashbacks? Do you go back into that place where you were when those lyrics were written?
Kinda, yeah. I try to do my best to convey what I was trying to convey whenever I'm performing, both like vocally and also like physically. I try to do like hand signals and stuff like that to try and convey like what I'm kind of hand signs, kind of like what I'm trying to convey and what I'm doing. Uh Usually I'm so like I still have like anxiety when it comes to performing, so whenever I'm on stage, that is what's going through my mind, is me being on stage and me uh trying my best to make a good performance rather than getting philosophical with it and thinking about uh like where I was when I wrote the song. I'm very much doing my best to make sure the show goes good, and then afterwards down a bottle of ibuprofen for my back. you
But
two things go through two things go through my mind. Oh, I really hope the show it goes well, and also, oh fuck my back.
Dude, you're too young to have back problems. Like you're talking to someone who suffers from back issues, so you're way too young for that.
I know, but my job makes it so that I do have back problems. I actually go to physical therapy. I
I was
actually
gonna
have a
say
physical therapist.
you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. That's why your back hurts.
Nah, I'm just lazy.
Going back to that live performance, do you have a favorite song that you're like, you know what? I don't care if we have 20 records. This track is always going to be on the set list.
Yes, actually, the newest song that we just dropped, Serenity. The Serenity, when I was writing that song, I was like, this is my fucking baby right now. Like, obviously, all of these songs I care about very deeply. Nihilism, especially, that as a song, I care about it to like so much because I remember where I was when I was writing it. I was in my room. I was super depressed. I couldn't for the life of me get out of bed. And all I wanted to do was go out and like hang out with friends. But because I suffer from severe self-deprecation and depression, I was just in this weird nihilistic mindset of just it wouldn't matter if I went to go see my friends. And throughout, the year and throughout like the months that I've been, like going out, working, doing a bunch of shit, both with Vended and at my job. I've been getting out of the house. I've been like I've been healing from that. But Serenity was just like a song that I wrote a little bit for and then completely finished it. And it was like I think it was either the last song or the second to last song that I wrote, that I recorded while we were recording the album. Excuse me. Oof, sorry. But no, yeah, Serenity is like I've said it to my band like multiple times. Like Serenity is my child. I love that song so much because very it's it's very much a flow of like screaming, singing, and then just full on breakdown. I love it so goddamn much.
Yeah, the core kids are going to love that shit. I know. Like that breakdown is that
Oh
breakdown
yeah.
comes in and it hits hard. It hits hard, dude.
And I love what I wrote for it too, like especially because what we wanted to do for that sort of like breakdown verse bridge kind of thing, like towards the end of it before the last chorus. Uh I we were trying like my band was suggesting me doing like a hip hop thing, and I was just like, okay, I kind of see where you're coming from. So I tried to write this kind of flowy rap thing, and it was very much like there's a rule when it comes to writing, when whether it's like instrumentally, lyrically, all that stuff. Like you never get it right the first time. I didn't get it right the first time, and I was trying my best to kind of figure out what I was trying to do. And I wrote this thing, and then I like went into and then I went into record it, and I was like talking to it with our producer Chris, and I was trying to figure everything out with him. And then eventually I was just like, dude, hit the button, let me fucking let me just record it, and well, let me just record it a few times and see what I'm trying to do with it. And then I like, recorded it a few times, and Chris was just like, okay, yeah, no, no, keep doing that. And then I just was just like, once again, I don't want to hear it. It's not fair. I'm annoyed. I admit. And I was just like, yeah.
It's sick, dude. That like the whole album is amazing. Like I said before, I really feel like your vocal performance is a cornerstone, is a pillar of how good this record is and how much it hits home. And when I was listening to the album, I was like, being a front man in a band is never easy. There's always self-doubt. There's always these issues that creep up in your mind. And that vocal performance made me wonder how long ago, how young were you when you discovered that you wanted to be a vocalist?
I always was good at singing, I guess. Like I always had a talent and a sort of a niche for singing, like way like when I started grunting as a kid. Uh, when I realized that I wanted to be a vocalist was when I was first practicing with Cole, because at the time when Cole first, asked, "Hey, do you want to do you want to start a band together and then do the talent show in middle school?" And I was just I was in a place where I was just like, "Yeah, sure, fuck it. I like let's see where this leads. I've got nothing really going on," which sounds shitty, but it really worked out for me because I found my form of therapy. I found my way of kind of, you know, being creative and like having fun. Even if we were just doing, covers at the time, I had a lot of fun doing that. And then Simon came in, and like I did my best. I really did my best writing, and I wasn't good at it. A lot of the songs that I wrote, and even songs that we released, a lot of them I'm not quite proud of. Some of them, mainly just because of like what I wrote on them, which is it's very normal to have things that you've released that you're just not quite proud of, and that's okay because it gives you room to improve. And over the years I've just gotten better and better and better, and I've sort of gotten a work ethic for writing music and for writing lyrics. It very much takes maturing and working over time to get to the point where you're comfortable to say, I feel like I'm improving. I feel like I've got this down to a T. Obviously mistakes will be made, and they're not called accidents because they're supposed to happen.
I totally get you. I mean, if you don't have those bumps in the road, you're never going to become the person that you currently are now. Like that is what
Exactly.
starts to define who you become. I thought you were going to tell me that you discover your voice in the shower.
well well you're not wrong, but I can't do that nowadays because I live with my grandma.
And otherwise, the dog probably would start barking.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. I love dogs. I love animals. I love them so much, and they have a special place in my heart. I love I love my grandma's dog Charlotte. I cannot stand her sometimes because a leaf will move and she needs to announce to the world. And I'm just like, Charlotte, it's 6 a.m.
She has a very dramatic personality. I love it.
Yeah.
Griffin, one last question for you. You guys are going to hit the road September 7th with Knocked Loose, Slipknot, leading up to the date of the release of the record. That must be super exciting that you know you're going to hit the road and you're counting the days with the performances leading up to that date. For those that are buying tickets to attend the show, what are you going to have in store for them?
We are gonna have we're gonna have a lot of new songs that like haven't been released yet until the album comes out. We are gonna have so many new like merch products. We're gonna have a lot. We've already like sold out on a lot of CDs, vinyls, all that shit. We have a lot of new experiences, and we're touring with a lot of other bands as well. Like even though us leading up to like Knocked Loose and Slipknot and all that stuff is on the 7th, we're starting on the 1st. Like our first show is on the 1st. And we've got so much more in store in terms of what we want Vended to be and what we want the audience to look at in terms of what Vended is. And I'm so fucking excited for it. The only thing I'm pissed off about is that I'm gonna miss the fucking Renaissance Fair because that starts on the 31st, and we will be driving by that point. I am
There's always
so mad.
there's always next year, dude. There's always next year.
There's also always Halloween. I
Oh
can
yeah,
I
yeah,
can
yeah.
dress up as a knight for Halloween.
Yeah, there's always I forgot about Halloween. That there's that too.
Yeah.
So you still have some catching up to do when it comes to Halloween, and then you just make it count even harder. Just go even harder in the paint.
Oh, I've got so many things in store for Halloween. I'm quite excited. But yeah, no, I'm so excited for this tour. I'm really excited to get out with my boys and just show what we've been working on and like completely just be out there. It's really, really exciting.
Dude, thank you very much for your time. I love the record. I think you guys have a phenomenal album in your hands here. Fans are going to love it as well. Congratulations on the record. Good luck on the tour. Enjoy yourself out there. And make sure you post some pictures around Halloween on your socials to let everybody know what you've been up to.
No, of course, dude. Thank you so much for having me. I really fucking appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening to the album. It's like we worked our fucking asses off on this. But yeah, no, again, thank you so much for having us.
And
And
make sure you
I'm
make your
again,
way. I was gonna say make sure you make your way back to Toronto. It's been a while since you guys have been here, so make sure you make your way back here.
we will do our very, very best. I have no say in anything.
I know.
We typically have no say when it comes to where we go. We just go.
We love you here, so make sure you come back.
Absolutely. We will do
Take
our
care, man.
very best.
All the best. Thank you for your time. All the best.
Thank you so much. You have a lovely rest of your day. Drink water, stay safe.
Thank you. You too.